Good morning and welcome back in the Hotel Management lecture videos. This is Dushyant Singh, Assistant Professor BBDU, and you are watching 10th lecture of Food Production Semester 3rd. Subject code is BHM 2301. The topic is meat. Meat. Meat is muscle tissue. It is the flesh of domestic animals like hogs, cattle, beef, lamb, and of wild game animals such as venison. Meat is a mainstay of our diet. As a cook, chef, or food service operator, you will be spending more of your time and money on meat than on any other food. It is important to understand meat thoroughly in order to cook them well and profitably. Why are some meat tender and some meat are tough? How can you tell one cut from another when there is so many? How do you determine the best way to cook each cut? In basic food preparation, meat is generally considered to be the flesh of any animal and including beef, veal, lamb and pork along with poultry, fish and shellfish. Poultry and fish, however, often differ from the red meat in preparation and taste for doneness. The word meat comes from the Old English word meat, which refers to food in general. The narrower the sense that refers to meat, which does not include seafood, developed over the past few hundred years and has delicious influence. Meat, especially beef, is prepared in many ways as steak in stews, fondue, or as dried meat. It may be ground then formed into patties as hamburger or croquettes, loaves or sausages, or used in loose form as in Bangalore sauce, Bolognese sauce. Some meats are cured by smoking, pickling, preserving in salt or brine. Other kinds of meat are marinated and barbecued, or simply boiled, roasted, or fried. Meat is generally eaten cooked, but there are many traditional recipes that call for raw beef, veal, or fish. Meat is often spiced or seasoned, as in most sausages. Meat dishes are usually described by their sources, animal or part of carcass, and methods of preparation. Meat is typically based for making sandwiches. Popular varieties of sandwiches. Meat includes ham, pork, salami or other sausages, and beef such as steak, roast beef, corned beef and pastrami. Meats can also be molded or praised, common for products that includes offal such as haggis and scraples, and canned. All muscle tissues is very high in protein, containing all of the essential amino acids, and in most cases is a good source of zinc, vitamin B12, selenium, phosphorus, niacin, vitamin B6, iron and riboflavin. However, meat is very high in fat, low in carbohydrate and contains no fiber. The fat content of meat can vary widely depending on the species, the breed of animal, the way in which animal was raised, including what it was fed, the anatomical parts of the body, and the method of butchering and cooking. Meat includes the edible portion of the mammals, the chief one being cattle. Structure of meat. Meat comprises of three parts: lean or flesh part, fatty tissues, and bones. Lean or flesh part. It is composed of microscopic fibers which are tube-like and tapering at the end and vary in size. These fibers are held together by the connective tissues. Fat, blood cells, and nerves are found in the connective tissues. Individual fiber is made up of outer walls and the cell contents. Muscles are composed of bundles of microscopic fiber, and each bundle is enclosed in a sheath of connective tissues which extend beyond the muscle to form a tendon and ligament. Tendon holds muscle to bony framework. Fatty tissues. Fat globules lie embedded in a network of connective tissues. The distribution of the fatty tissues is inter and intramuscular under the skin. Bones. Long shafts of the bones are composed of compact bony tissues. A center canal is filled with yellow marrow, contain red marrow which has got blood cells. Rigor mortis. After the animal are killed, the muscles become stiff and hard. This is due to the clotting of the myosin, a protein present in meat, which is converted to lactic acid. The condition is called rigor mortis and has its importance in food production because of the fact that the meat are not cooked while they are in the state of rigor mortis. When the meats are held for certain time duration at a temperature of 2 to 5 degrees centigrade for 12 to 24 for hour, the rigor mortis disappears, making the meat tender. Veal and pork should not hung. Veal due to lack of fat resulting in excessive drying, and pork has high fat content which goes rancid in if hung for a longer time. Ripening of meat. This term is applied to the changes which occurs in the meat as they are hung in the cold storage. These changes are due to enzymatic action which make the meat juicy and improve the flavor and tenderness to long ripening time. Also results in strong bad flavor or odors. Aging does not improve veal, pork, but beef and lamb are generally ripened. Veal due to lack of fat result in excessive drying, and pork has high fat content which goes rancid if hung for a longer time. Composition. The tenderness of meat depends upon the age, feeding of the animal, hanging and preparation of killing of the animal. The fat present in the muscle structure has an effect on the tenderness and texture of the meat. Skeletal muscles are made up of fiber which are composed of the protein myosin, insoluble in water but soluble in salty solution, and albumin, soluble in both the solution. The fiber are grouped together in parallel lines and are surrounded by the sheath of heavier connective tissues. There are two kinds of connective tissues, collagen and elastin. Collagen, it is white connective tissues, insoluble in nature but converted to gelatin by the moist heat. Elastin, that is yellow connective tissues, insoluble and should be discarded in the earlier stages. In most of the cases, young flesh is sweeter and tenderer. Longer the meat is hung, stronger is its flavor owing to some chemical changes. Meat should always be hung at 2 to 5 degrees centigrade after the animal is dead to develop the acid which tenderizes the meat flesh and makes rigor mortis disappear, thus making the flesh tender and suitable for consumption. Meat flavor depends upon age, sex, species and degree of maturity when eaten. Fat content. Fat should be evenly distributed throughout the body. Amount of sugar in meat because it is caramelized during cooking and improves flavor and color. And marbling. It is a fat which is dispersed between the meat and the fiber of connective tissues. It helps the meat to remain moist when dry methods are applied. Meat having small amount of connective tissues should be cooked by dry method, and long cuts which requires longer cooking time should be cooked by stewed or braised. Factors to make meat tender. The moist heat. With application of moist heat, white connective tissues changes to gelatin and yellow remains unaffected. Next is tenderizers. Raw papaya, papain enzyme which makes meat tender and is present in papaya, vinegar, tomatoes, curds, lemon and tamarind. These are tenderizers. Ripening or aging. By hanging the meat in cool condition 2 to 5 degrees centigrade to improve color, flavor and tenderness. And next one is mechanical pounding and grinding. This is done to break down the connective tissues. This process tears the connective tissues and thereby tenderizes it and make it easy for cooking. Different types of meat. Lambs, aged less than 1 year when slaughtered, flesh light red in color and finely grained, white or creamy white fat, bones are soft and porous, carcass should be evenly flat with even coating of fat, hung for 4 to 7 days after slaughtering. Mutton. Aged 1 to 3 years when slaughtering. Flesh is darker red than lamb. Fat is white and brittle. Bones harder than lamb. Hung for 4 to 7 days after slaughtering. The quality points. These are the points for good quality meats. First, bone is porous with slight plushing tinge. Fat evenly distributed, hard brittle, flaky and clear white in color. Lean flesh, firm dull red with fine texture or grain. Before preparation, carcass should be hung in a cool, dry area for up to 5 or 6 days. This will improve the taste, texture and tenderizes the meat. Cuts of lamb or mutton. These are the different types of cuts of lamb or mutton. Both are same. Understanding the basic cuts. Meat cuts are based upon two factors: the muscle and bone structure of the meat, and uses an appropriate cooking method of various parts of the animal. Available forms are carcasses, partial carcasses, primal and fabricated cuts. Beef, lamb, veal and pork may be purchased in some or all of these forms. Carcasses. The carcass is the whole animal minus entrails, head, feet and hide, except pork, which has only the entrails and the head removed. Whole carcasses are rarely purchased by the food service operators because of the skill and labor required in cutting and because of the problem of total utilization. Sides, quarter, fore saddles, hind saddles. These represent the first step in breaking down the carcass. Again, these larger cuts are no longer frequently used in food service. Fewer establishments are cutting down their own meats. Beef is first split through the backbone into sides. Sides are divided between rib 12 and 13 into forequarter and hindquarter. Veal and lamb are not split into sides but are divided between rib 12 and 13 into foresaddle and hindsaddles. Pork carcasses are not divided in this way. They are cut directly into primal cuts, primal or wholesale cuts. These are primary division or quarters, foresaddles, hindsaddles and carcasses. These cuts are still used to some extent in food service because they are small enough to be manageable in many food service kitchens, still large enough to allow a variety of different cuts of different uses or needs, easier to utilize completely than quarter or halves. Each primal cuts may be fabricated or cut up or trimmed in several different ways. They are always the starting point of the smaller cuts. Learn the name of the primal, their location on the carcass, and the most important cuts that come from each. Then, whenever you work with a piece of meat, try to identify it exactly and match it with its primal cuts. Fabricated cuts. Primal cuts are fabricated into smaller cuts for roast, steak, chop, cutlet, stewing meat, ground meat, and so forth according to the customer requirement. Portion control cuts are ready to cook meat, cut according to customer satisfaction. Steak and chops are ordered either by weight per piece or by thickness. Portion control cuts require the least work of the all meat cuts. They are also the most expensive per kg of all category of cuts. This is an easy picture to understand different types of cut are found from which part of the body. These are combinedly known as neck, shoulder, rib, loin, sirloin, leg, breast and flank, foreshank and hindshank. Lamb is divided into large sections called primal cuts, which you can see in the chart above. These large cuts are then broken down further into individual retail cuts that you buy at the supermarket or from the butcher shop. Lamb is divided into large sections called primal cuts, which you can see in the chart above. These large cuts are then broken down further into individual retail cuts that you buy at the supermarket or from the butcher shop. Stuffed and rolled, or when well trimmed, can be used for mince, burger, or skewers. Some butchers also sell this cut in strips, which are ideal for barbecues. Flank. Unlike other cuts from the loin area, the flank is much tougher and is usually sold as mince meat. Foreshank. Also known as lamb shank, this cut is suitable for low roasting, stewing, and braising. It has become very popular in recent years, especially when braised. When a whole shank with the bone is served per person, it is very flavorful cut of meat. Leg. Leg is a prime cut with little fat which is excellent for roasting as a joint. It is often cut into lamb steak, suitable for frying or grilling, or into cubes for lean kebabs. Loin. The loin is the most tender part of the lamb. It is from the area that loin chop come from, as well as medallions, noisettes, as well as roasting cuts suitable for roasting, although the joints tend to be small unless you have whole saddle which is made up of a double loin roast. From both sides of the backbone, frying and grilling are excellent for the smaller cuts. Neck. This is one of the tougher cuts and is generally sold as stewing lamb or made into mince meat. When sold in pieces, it is only suitable for very long, slow, moist cooking. Although tough, the flavor is very good, so well worth the extra cooking. Best end of neck is traditionally used for Lancashire hot pot. Scrag, also known as scrag end or neck end, this is one of the tougher cut and is therefore one of the cheaper one. The meat from the area is often more fatty than other cuts and is usually sold chopped or diced for use in stews and casseroles. Rack. A rack of lamb is the name given to the whole rib section on either side of the backbone between the shoulder and the loin. A tender and flavorsome cut, it is also expensive and it is suitable for dry heat cooking such as roasting or grilling. Shoulder. Shoulder is often sold as two separate joints, blade and arm knuckles. The whole shoulder is also sometimes called square cut, which consists of the arm, blade, and rib bones. Shoulder meat is also often trimmed to fat and sold as cubes for curries, kebab, and casserole. Shoulder chops are suitable for pan frying, grilling, or braising. In addition to providing meat, the bone of calf are used to make stock that form the base of the sauces and soup. Baste the meat as it cooks and makes it tender and juicy. In addition to providing meat, the bone of calf are used to make stock that form the base for sauces and soup such as demi-glace. The stomach are also used to produce rennet used in the production of cheese. Slaughtering of animals. Slaughtering contains 5 main stages: antemortem inspection, stunning, bleeding, dressing, and inspection. The antemortem inspection includes 3 points. First, animal is brought to the slaughterhouse 24 hours in advance, then resting, and then inspection for disease, injury, etc. Second one is stunning. It contains 3 methods. First is captive bolt, means large animal pithing by the long metal rod. Second one is electrical stunning. Small animals pass current through animals for at least 7 seconds, leaves animal unconscious for 1.5 minutes. Third one is CO2 stunning, means pig passes through the tunnel of CO2. Third stage is bleeding. Make a small incision at the neck to cut the main blood vessel. Remove as much as blood as possible, as it is the ideal medium for bacterial growth. Fourth one is dressing. Remove hide, only hair for pigs. Offal and viscera are removed and carcasses is cleaned. Large animal cut into 2 parts from the spine. And then inspection. Continuous process. Tagging for carcasses and offals may be done in cooling room under 7 degrees centigrade. Rigor mortis. Rigor mortis is a condition that occurs in the body soon after death. This is characterized by muscle spasms, the stiffening of muscle, and occurs not only in human beings but also in animals. We know that all living beings respire and there are two types of respiration, aerobic and anaerobic. Aerobic respiration takes place in the presence of oxygen and the end product is carbon dioxide. This would take place normally and produces ATP, which is high chemical bond energy compound derived from amino acids and provide energy for the body function. Anaerobic respiration takes place in the absence of oxygen and its end product is ethyl alcohol. In animals, an end product of anaerobic respiration is lactic acid, which, when accumulated in the carcasses, decreases the pH and stiffens the muscles. In living animals, the myoglobin stores oxygen in the muscles. When the animal is slaughtered, the external source of oxygen is cut off and the tissues use the stored oxygen to continue aerobic respiration and subsequent ATP and carbon dioxide production. Within a few minutes, the store of the oxygen is depleted and the tissues now opt for the anaerobic respiration, which then results in the accumulation of lactic acid in the muscles. Hence, the acidity of the cells increases and the pH decreases. Then, this is in turn causes the muscles to stiffen. This condition is known as rigor mortis. This condition is aided by the fact that the supply of ATP is cut off and hence there is no energy for the tissue to work. The lactic acid gradually breaks up into lactate and water and indicate the end of rigor mortis and the production of water. This is characterized by the bloating of the carcass. Composition, structure and basic quality factors. Muscle tissue consists of three major components: water, protein, fat. Water. 75% of muscle tissues is water. With such a high percentage of water in meat, you can see why shrinkage can be a big problem in its cooking. Too much moisture loss means dry meat, loss of weight and loss of profit. Protein. 20% of muscle tissues. Protein is an important nutrient and the most abundant solid material in meat. Protein coagulates when it is heated. This means it becomes firmer and loses moisture. Coagulation is related to doneness. When protein has coagulated to the desired degree, the meat is said to be done. Too high heat toughens the protein. Fat. Up to 5% of muscle tissues. Of course, there can be more fat surrounding the muscles. A beef carcass can have as much as 30% of fat. A certain amount of fat is desirable for three reasons: juiciness, tenderness and flavor. Marbling is a fat that is deposited within the muscle tissues. The juiciness we enjoy in well-marbled beef is due to more to fat than to moisture. Surface fat protects the meat from drying out during cooking as well as in storage. Adding surface fat where they are lacking is called barding. Tenderness. Marbling separates muscle fiber, making them easier to chew. Flavor. Fat is perhaps the main source of flavor in meat. A well-marbled prime steak tastes beefier than the same cut of the lower grade. Carbohydrate. Meat contains a very small amount of carbohydrate. When you brown meat, you are in the part of caramelizing the carbohydrate. Coloring pigments. Color of the meat is mainly due to two pigments, that is hemoglobin and myoglobin. Both contains iron. Hemoglobin, present in blood, gives red color to the meat, and myoglobin, present in freshly cut meats, on exposure to air gets oxidized into oxymyoglobin. Flavoring agents contribute to the flavor of the meat, and these are mostly byproduct of living muscles metabolism. Structure of meat. Muscle fiber. Lean meat is composed of long, thin muscle fiber bound together in bundles. These determine the texture of grain of a piece of meat. Fine grained meat is composed of small fibers bound in small bundles. Coarse texture meat has large fiber. Feel the cut surface of a tenderloin steak and compare its smooth texture to the rough surface of brisket or bottom round. Connective tissues. Muscle fiber are bound together in a network of protein called connective tissues. Each muscle fiber is also covered in a sheath of connective tissue. It is very important for the cook to understand connective tissue for one basic reason. Connective tissue is tough. To cook meat successfully, you should know which meat are high in connective tissue and which are low, and what are the best way to make meat tender. Meats are highest in connective tissues if they come from the muscles that are more exercised. Muscles in the leg, for example, have more connective tissue than muscles in the back. Second, they come from older animals. Veal is tender than the meat from a younger steer, which is turned and tenderer than meat from an old bull or cow. Young animals have connective tissue, but it will become harder to break down as the animal ages. Meat high in connective tissues can be made more tender by using proper cooking techniques. There are two kinds of connective tissues: collagen, which is white in color, and elastin, which is yellow in color. Collagen. Moist heat turns collagen into gelatin and water. Moist heat at low temperature for a longer time is most effective in creating a tender, juicy, finished product. Meat is an acid mixture of adding an acid such as tomato or wine to the cooking liquid help tenderizing the collagen. Enzymes are naturally present in meat. They break down the connective tissues and some other proteins as the meat ages. These enzymes are inactive at freezing temperature, slow acting under refrigeration, active at room temperature, and destroyed by the heat above 140 degrees Fahrenheit or 60 degrees centigrade. Tenderizers are enzymes such as papain, extracted from papaya, that are added to the meat by the cook or injected into the animal before slaughtering. Exercise care when using enzyme tenderizers. Too long an exposure at room temperature can make the meat undesirably mushy. Elastin. Older animals have higher portion of elastin than younger animals. Cooking does not break down elastin. Tenderizing can only be accomplished by removing the elastin, cutting away from the tendons, and by mechanically breaking up the fiber as in pounding or cubing the meat, grinding, or slicing the cooked meat thinly against the grain. Inspection and grading of animals. Cooks and food service operators are assisted in their evaluation of meat by a federal inspection and grading system. Inspection is a guarantee of wholesomeness, not of quality or tenderness. It means that the animal was not diseased and the meat is clean and fit for human consumption. It is indicated by a round stamp, and it is required by federal law. All meat must be inspected. Quality grading of meat. Quality grading is based on texture, firmness, and color of the lean meat and the age of maturity of animal and the marbling. All these factors must be considered together. For example, old tough meat can still have marbling, but it would rate a low grade because of the other factors. Yield grading. In addition to quality grading, beef and lamb are graded according to how much usable meat in proportion to fat they have. The meatiest grade is yield grade 1, poorest grade is yield grade 5. Pork is yield graded from 1 to 4, but most pork is sold cut and trim. Veal, which has little fat, is not yield graded. Aging. Green meat. Soon after slaughter, an animal's muscles stiffen due to chemical changes in the flesh. The stiffness, called rigor mortis, gradually disappears. Softening takes place 3 to 4 days for beef, less time for smaller carcasses like veal, lamb, and pork. Enzymes in the flesh cause the softening. Green meat is meat that has not had enough time to soften. It is tough and relatively flavorless since it takes several days for meat to reach the kitchen from slaughterhouse. Green meat is seldom a problem except when meat is frozen while still green. Aged meat. Enzyme action continues in muscle tissues even after meat is no longer green. This tenderizes the meat even more and develops more flavor. Holding meats in coolers under controlled conditions to provide time for this natural tenderizing is called aging. Beef and lamb can be aged because high quality carcasses have enough for cover to protect them from bacteria and from drying. Veal had no fat cover, so it is not aged. Pork does not require aging. The three major types of aging are described as follows: dry aging, fast aging, and vacuum packaging. Dry aging. Aging does not mean just storing meat in your refrigerator. There is a difference between aged meat and old meat. Temperature must be carefully monitored. Airflow and humidity must be controlled because bacterial growth will grow on cut surface if there is too much moisture. Ultraviolet lights are sometimes used in aging coolers to kill bacteria and mold. Fast aging. To speed aging, meat can be held at a higher temperature and humidity for a shorter time. Ultraviolet light to control bacteria are especially important in fast aging. Most fast aged meat is sold in the retail market rather than to food service establishment. Vacuum packaging. The modern trend is to break down carcasses into smaller cuts and wrap them in an moisture-proof plastic bag. This is called cryovac aging. The wrapping protects the meat from bacteria and mold and prevents weight loss due to drying. However, cryovac aged meat often lose more weight in cooking than dry aged meats. Cryovac meats must be refrigerated. Aging increases tenderness and flavor, and of taste is not characteristic of aged meat. If meat smell or taste spoiled, it probably is. Sometimes meat in cryovac have a musty aroma when first opened, but this disappears soon. Aging costs money, storage cost, weight loss due to drying, heavier trimming due to dried and discolored surface, all add to the price of aged meat. Although cryovac aged meat costs less than dry aging, as a meat purchaser you will have to decide how much quality is worth how much cost for your establishment. Curing of meat. Major objective is preservation. It also affects the color and the flavor of meat. Originally done of preservation prior to the days of refrigeration. Curing salt is equal to 96% common salt plus 4% nitrite or nitrate from sodium or potassium. Antioxidants, curing accelerators, flavor, yeast extract, color enhancer help to preserve the color of the meat. Curing of meat. The prime object of aging or ripening and use of tenderizers is to increase the tenderness of meat. The curing of meat has additional objectives. Curing brings about the modification of meat that affects preservation, flavor, color and tenderness due to added curing agent. Originally, curing was practiced as a means of preservation before the days of refrigeration. The prime purpose of curing is to produce the unique flavored meat product, and a special purpose is to preserve the red color of meat. Thus, cured beef and cured pork remains red on cooking, while in the uncured condition they become brown. The ingredients used for curing are common salt, sodium nitrate or nitrite, sugar and spices. Curing salt is 96% common salt and 4% of sodium nitrite or sodium nitrate or nitrite. Salt retards microbial growth and gives flavor to the meat. Nitrite fixes the red color of myoglobin. Nitrite has also a beneficial effect on the flavor of cured meat and an inhibitory effect on Clostridium botulism. Sugar helps to stabilize the color, counteracts saltiness, and also adds flavor. Spices are added mainly for flavor. During the curing process, the curing mixture may be rubbed dry on the surface of a cut meat, or the meat may be immersed in a solution of curing agent. The high osmotic pressure of the external flood initially draws water and soluble protein out of the meat. Later, salt diffuses into the meat and binds to the protein, causing some expelled protein to diffuse back in. This causes a swelling of the meat. The salt protein complex that forms bind water well. Curing has also some detrimental effect during storage. The pink color of nitrite cured meat changes to the brown in the presence of oxygen. Thus, cured meat should preferentially be packed in containers from which oxygen has been excluded. Curing salt enhances the oxidation of lipid components and thus reduces shelf life. Also, there is some concern about the carcinogenic effect of the nitrite, particularly when cured meat is heated to a high temperature. Cooking and handling meats, tenderness and appropriate cooking methods. The heat of cooking affects tenderness in two ways. First, it tenderizes connective tissue if moisture is present and cooking is slow. Second, it toughens protein. Even meat slow in connective tissue can become tough if cooked at excessively high heat for too long. The principle of low heat cooking. High heat toughens and shrinks protein and result in excessive moisture loss. Therefore, low heat cooking should be the general practice for most meat cooking methods. Broiling seems to be the contradiction to this rule. The reason that carefully broiled meat stays tender is that it is done quickly. It takes time for the heat to be conducted to the interior of the meat, so the inside never gets very hot. Meat broiled well done, however, is likely to be dry. Third, roast cooked at low temperature have better yields than those roasted at high heat. They shrink less and lose less moisture. Fourth, moist heat penetrates more quickly than dry heat. Meat should be simmered, never boiled. Other factors influencing choice of cooking methods is fat contents. Meat high in fat, such as prime beef or lamb, are generally cooked without added fat, such as by roasting and broiling. Meats low in fat, such as veal, should be cooked with added fat to prevent dryness. Sauteing, pan frying, or braising are preferable to broiling for veal chop. Fat can be added to lean meat in two ways. First is balding and second is larding. Balding, tying thin slices of fat such as pork fat back over meats with no natural fat cover to protect them while roasting. Larding, inserting strips of fat with the larding needle into meat, low in marbling. These two techniques were developed in Europe when meats were much leaner. They are not often used with today's grain-fattened, well-marbled meat. These techniques are valuable techniques, however, when cooking lean game such as venison. Developing tenderness is not the only goal of cooking. The other goals are developing flavor, preventing excessive shrinkage and nutrient loss, and developing appearance. You will often have to compromise to get a balanced result. For example, preliminary browning of a roast at high heat increases the shrinkage but may be desirable for some roast to develop flavor and appearance. Searing and sealing. The purpose of searing meats at high temperature is to create desirable flavor and color by browning the meat surface. It was long believed that searing the surface of meat seals the pores, keeping in the juice. This does not actually happen. Meat does not have pores but is an open network of fiber. Think of the surface of the steak as resembling the cut end of a thick rope. These are no pros to seal. Roast cooked from the start at low temperature retain more juices than roast that are sealed at high heat first. Steaks. Steak, chop, and cutlets cooked very quickly at high heat drive the juices away from the hot surface into the meat. This permits browning because moisture would create steam and inhibit browning. However, overcooked steak will be dry whether or not the steak was seared. Blanching and sealing. Dropping the meat into boiling water does not seal it either. What actually happens is this: many proteins dissolve in cold water. When heated, these proteins coagulate and become scum or froth on the surface of the water. When meat is placed in boiling water, some of the protein coagulates inside the meat and not as much as carried out with the lost moisture. Prolonged cooking will shrink meat as much as if started with boiling water than if started in cold water. Cooking frozen meats. Some sources recommend cooking some meats from the frozen state without thawing in order to eliminate drip loss that occurs during defrosting. However, it is usually better to thaw before cooking because of the following reasons. First, frozen meats lose no moisture from defrosting but lose more during cooking. The total loss is about the same as for thawed meat. Besides, the perception of juiciness depends as much as or more on the fat content than on moisture content. Second, cooking frozen meats complicates the cooking process and requires adjustment in procedure. It is possible for roast to be cooked on the outer side but be still frozen in the center. Frozen steaks too are more difficult to cook evenly than thawed steak. Thawed meat, on the other hand, are handled like fresh meat. Cooking frozen meats require extra energy and energy is expensive. A half frozen meat may take 3 times as much as long to cook as thawed roast. Doneness. The meaning of the term doneness depends on whether the cooking method uses dry or moist heat. Dry heat. Meat is done when the protein have reached the desired degree of coagulation as indicated by the internal temperature. Moist heat. Meat is done when connective tissue have broken down enough for the meat to be palatable. Meat cooked by the moist heat is always well done. Dry heat cooking. The object of dry heat cooking is to achieve the desired degree of doneness while still preserving natural tenderness and juiciness. Degree of doneness. As meat cooks, its pigment changes color. These color changes indicate degree of doneness. Red meat changes from red to pink to gray or gray-brown. Rare, brown surface, thin layer cooked meat, red interior. Medium, thick layer of gray-pink interior. Well done, gray throughout. These are staged in between two. White meat changes from pink or grey-pink to white or off-white. It is generally cooked well done, although many cuts of veal may be considered well done when still slightly pink in the center. Interior temperature of cooked meat, rare, medium, well done. For beef, it is 60 degrees centigrade for rare, 71 degrees centigrade for medium and 77 degrees for well done. For lamb, it is 140 to 150 degree Fahrenheit for rare, 160 degree Fahrenheit for medium and 170 degree Fahrenheit for well done. For veal it is 77 degrees centigrade and for pork it is 74 to 79 degrees centigrade. Beef is frequently cooked rare. Most customers prefer lamb cooked medium. Recommended temperature for pork has been lowered. It is no longer considered necessary to cook pork to 85 degrees centigrade to eliminate the danger of trichinosis. Tasting doneness. Determining doneness is one of the most difficult and critical aspects of meat cooking. Anyone can put a steak on the grill or a roast in the oven, but it takes experience and skill to take it off the fire at the right time. Color change cannot be used by the cook to taste doneness, as it would be necessary to cut the meat. Piercing the meat and examine the color of the juice is no reliable method. Internal temperature. Testing the interior of the meat with thermometer is the most accurate method of testing doneness. Thermometer are two types: standard, which is inserted before roasting and left in the roast, and instant read, which is inserted at any time. Read as soon as the needle stops moving and pulled out. Whatever thermometer you use, make sure it is clean and sanitary before inserting into the meat. The tip of the thermometer should be inserted into the center of thickest part, not touching fat or bones. Carryover cooking. Internal temperature continues to rise even after the meat is removed from the oven. This is because the outside of roasting meat is hotter than the inside. This heat continues to be conducted into the meat until it is equalized throughout the roast. Carryover cooking can raise internal temperatures from 5 degree Fahrenheit or small cuts to as much as 25 degree Fahrenheit. For very large roast, such as steam chip round, usual range is 6 to 8 degrees centigrade for average roast. Exact temperature change depend on the size of the cut and on the oven temperature. Remove roast from the oven when internal temperature is 10 to 15 degree Fahrenheit below desired reading. Let roast stand 15 to 20 minutes before slicing. For example, a beef rib cooked rare should be removed from the oven when thermometer reads 125 to 130 degree Fahrenheit. Carryover cooking will bring the temperature to 140 degree Fahrenheit after the roast has stood for 30 minutes. Storage. The quality of the finished product depends not only the proper selection of meat but on proper storage as well. Fresh meat is highly perishable. The high cost of meat makes it essential to avoid spoilage. Fresh meat, check purchase on arrival to ensure that the meat is of good quality. Do not wrap tightly. Bacteria and mold thrive in the moist, stagnant place. Air circulation inhibits their growth. Store loosely but cover cut surface with plastic wrap to prevent excessive drying. Do not cryovac wrapped meat until ready to eat. Store at 32 to 36 degree Fahrenheit. Meat does freeze until 28 degree Fahrenheit. Keep meat separate in cooler and on work table to avoid cross contamination. Use as soon as possible. Fresh meat keeps well for only 2 to 4 days. Ground meat keeps even less well because so much surface is exposed to bacteria. Cured and smoked product may keep up to a week. Do not try to rescue meats that are going bad by freezing them. Freezing will not improve the quality of spoiled meat. Keep coolers clean. The frozen meat. Wrap frozen meats well to prevent freezer burn. Store at -18 degree or cooler. Rotate stock first in, first out. Frozen meat do not keep indefinitely. Recommended shelf life at -18 degree centigrade or beef, veal, lamb 6 months or pork 4 months. Pork fat turns rancid easily in the freezer. Defrost carefully. Tempering in the refrigerator is the best. Defrosting at room temperature encourages bacterial growth. Do not refreeze thawed meat, it increases loss of quality. Keep freezers clean. Here your lecture on meat cookery is finished. Thank you for watching.